So, welcome to yet another exciting Scrivener webinar where we're going to be discussing how to level up your writing with 6 Scrivener tools. Now, I have tooled and retooled this presentation so many times, but I feel like I finally settled into a good groove for you guys today. I'm excited to share what I've got. So you can kind of, like I said earlier, you can kind of think of this presentation as your next step after mastering the fundamentals of Scrivener. But really, honestly, wherever you're at, this is going to be good information for you. So let's go ahead and dive right in here. Okay, now for those of you who have no idea who this guy is, who I am, and what I'm doing, well, my name is Oliver Evanson, and I'm a writer, I'm an editor, I'm a Scrivener and writing mentor, largely thanks to this exceptional software. And for the better part of 15 years, I have used Scrivener to improve my own writing and editing skills, and I am so excited to teach you these skills in my position as the outreach specialist for Literature and Latte, the creators of Scrivener and Scapple. Now, I love connecting with like-minded writers like you. So if you'd like to connect with me, send me an email, or better yet, join one of my email lists. I frequently send out valuable tips and techniques to help you become a better writer. And all subscribers will receive a free copy of my free starter novel template. So if you'd like a copy of that, just get on there and subscribe. It's in that links that I sent you earlier. And of course, I practice what I preach. I'm a writer as well. I have just started posting my debut novel, Mark of the Shadow, on Substack. So if you're interested in Substack, or if in reading that and seeing what I'm doing in Scrivener, check it out there. It's a collaborative novel I'm writing with a friend. It's been a lot of fun. You can check that out at oliverevanson.substack.com. A lot of fun stuff going on there. So you can see my email there. Reach out to me if you need anything. Happy to help. Okay. Well, let's dive right in. Let's talk about our schedule now that we've gotten better acquainted, and let's outline this for us today. So first off, to begin, I'll provide a short introduction to our topic and what you should expect to learn today. And then we'll move on from there to our training, where I'll cover our 6 Scrivener tools. And to kind of wrap it up, I'll provide you with a wealth of amazing resources you can use to utilize and deepen your understanding of Scrivener and improve your writing skills. And I'll also leave ample time at the end for a Q&A where we can hopefully answer as many questions as we possibly can. Just depends on time, but we'll do our best to get as many questions as we can in today. So here we go. Now, there is nothing I hate more than joining a webinar and then waiting like 45 minutes to an hour before the presenter even gets to his training, if he gets to it at all. I know you've all been to those kind of events. That's not what's happening here today. This is why I established very clear expectations at the beginning of what I promise to teach in each session I do. Okay, so in this webinar, you should expect to learn these 6 skills. First off, I promise to teach you how to use the 3 Corkboard modes to brainstorm and outline your next Scrivener project. 2, how to use the outliner to expertly track your project's progress. 3, how to use project and document bookmarks to keep key files right at your fingertips. 4, how to use Scrivener's composition mode to remove distractions, yet still have access to the tools you need most. 5, how to use linguistic focus or dialogue focus if you're on a PC to highlight different parts of speech within your document, such as noun, verbs, adverbs, adjectives, and direct speech. Just be aware, though, PC users, it's unfortunately at this time, it's just direct speech for you guys, but still, hopefully we'll see that coming down the road. And last but not least, how to use the name generator to generate various names ideal for your next writing project. And these are all 6 of these tools are tools that I personally use regularly. The name generator in particular is a favorite of mine. So let's dive right in here. Let's just say by the conclusion of this presentation, you should feel confident to use these 6 tools to kind of upgrade your writing in Scrivener, to really level it up and move on to some really great, amazing things. So let's dive right in here. Let's get started. Let's talk about it. Okay. Now, first off, the Corkboard. I think most of you, in fact, most of the writers that I've met with Scrivener have always kind of been drawn to Scrivener because of the virtual Corkboard option that we offer here. Now, the Scrivener's Corkboard feature offers an organized visual approach to managing your writing project. The digital Corkboard lets users create, arrange, and rearrange virtual index cards, each with summaries, or with key points. Now, providing an overview of your project structure, the Corkboard can help you grasp the big picture and make adjustments really quickly and really easily. Whether you're plotting a novel, drafting an academic paper, or even planning a screenplay, Scrivener's Corkboard breaks complex tasks into manageable segments, really fostering your creativity and maintaining a professional workflow. Now you can use this tool at just about any stage of the writing process, from brainstorming up to revision. It's totally up to you. It's a very flexible tool. Now, in particular, the Corkboard offers 3 very distinct views you can use. We have the linear view, which is essentially just the default view that everyone is familiar with, and we'll look at how that looks. We have the freeform view, which allows you to kind of move the index cards in any way you want to, just like if you had actual index cards in your hand, just move them in any place without committing to any specific structure yet. And then, of course, we have our arrange by label view, whereas if you assign labels to your specific index cards, you can then sort them by labels and kind of see where they fit up in the grand scheme of your project. I like that a lot. I use it typically for keeping track of viewpoint characters and stuff like that, so I can see which chapters and which scenes relate to a specific viewpoint character that I'm working on. Okay, so kind of fun, kind of cool. We'll look at that. Then, of course, we have some Corkboard options where we'll explore various customization options to enhance the Corkboard's appearance according to our preference. Okay, now let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. You know what? Should we move on? Yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and dive right into that. Let's do Corkboard first. I think I'm going to do a tool at a time, and then we'll kind of switch back and forth between the presentation here. So I'm going to quickly switch screens, and we will get started. So let's open up Scrivener real quick. And real quick, I'm going to grab a drink of water too. Now, when you first open up Scrivener, for you, those of you that are new users, you get this new project window right here, okay? And this makes it really, really easy to find the template that you're looking for, even to find recent projects you've been working on. Now, for our sake today, I'm going to go ahead and use my special category that I created myself. Okay, this is something I've done. Let me just double check this real quick. Yep. Okay, looks good. And this is my starter novel template I was talking about earlier. If you'd like to get a copy of for free. Okay, so we'll go ahead and create from there. You could easily just come here and use a fiction novel with parts, or any of these wonderful templates that we have available here for you for free. We'll go ahead and use my starter novel template. We'll double click that. We'll give it a name. We'll just call it my third novel, because I think I have my first and second novel in here somewhere. And you'll see I'll save it in my Documents Scrivener Projects folder. Ideally, it just needs to be a place that you can easily locate and find your project. And if you save your projects to the cloud and you plan to edit them from the cloud, we do recommend Dropbox. And I do keep them stored there, the ones I use on multiple devices. Okay, so let's go ahead and click Create. It's going to pop up here. Now, it's set up so it goes automatically to my little activation guide. It just kind of tells you what this project is, how it's set up, how it works. It is set up for a series with books inside of it instead of a draft folder with chapters inside of it. But if you open that up, you'll see the manuscript folder has, in fact, a book inside of it, and inside that book we'll have acts, and inside those acts we can have chapters, and inside those chapters we can have scenes. So it kind of goes all the way down that hierarchical structure. You could easily just have the manuscript folder be a single book with acts or chapters in it. Totally up to you, but that's kind of how this template is set up. Now let's talk about the Corkboard. How am I going to come in here immediately, and maybe I'm using this template and get started outlining a novel, for example? So if I clicked on my series title here, I can actually go to View. I can go to View Corkboard, which I'm already in, or I could click the Corkboard mode right over here in my toolbar. And you can see right now what it's showing me is book 1 inside of it, right? So, for example, the book I'm working on right now is called Mark of the Shadow, right? And that could be book 1, and I could even come up here to my templates. Let's see here. Actually, I don't have it here. Let's go ahead, right-click, add. I do have a book template here, so I could add a second book, right? And I could come in here and I go, okay, this is book 2, and we're just going to keep it at that, book 2. Typically, you want to give very descriptive names so you can easily look at what's going on in your binder and know what's happening there, okay? And we're going to click our series title then, and we're going to see what we've got going on here. Okay, great. So we have book 1 and we have book 2. And the reason I like doing it this way is, 1, I can have multiple books in a single project, and 2, I can put in here a premise sentence, right? Like so. And that's the first thing I like to do when I'm considering writing a book. What's the premise, right? Like that, okay? And I could write that out. You could use a a template, a formula, or whatever, you could just write something down. Since however you want to do that, if you have something that you have in mind there, you could do that easily. And I just like that I could look at the premise of each book just like this. And so this is the default mode, the linear view that we're looking at here. So the thing about the linear mode, if I move something in here, it changes in the binder. Do you see that? So if I move it over here now, it changes back. And so that default mode, whatever structure I commit to, that's the structure that's going to be in my binder. The freeform mode is a little bit different, right? If I come down here and I click this button right here in the bottom right corner, it says freeform corkboard. I know it's kind of hard to see. We could also go to help and search freeform. We can find it right there in view, corkboard options, freeform. We hit enter there, and that'll take us into a freeform mode where we can move things anywhere we want to. Right? We don't have to commit to any structure yet. See, nothing has been changed. But if I did decide I want to commit to this structure now, like this, I would come down here to the bottom right corner, click commit. I tell it how I want it to what order I want it to put it in. I'm going to start at the top, and then go from left to right. We'll click OK, and boom, it made that change for me just right there. So that's pretty handy. I like that because you don't have to commit to a structure yet. You can kind of mess around. Try things out, see what works and what doesn't. Now, I know this doesn't make much sense probably on a book level. I mean, it might. Maybe you're outlining a trilogy or a 5-book series or something like that, and you want to look at the premises and see, hey, maybe I can kind of mess around with these and figure out what I want here. But it makes a lot more sense when we're coming down into the chapter or scene level, right? So we could come in here. Let's go into Mark of the Shadow here. We could come back into our freeform cork mode. And maybe even to Act 1. We'll probably go to Act 1. And then we could come here, and we could have multiple chapters. Now, what I can do is I can go add new from template, and then click my chapter template like that. Or I can just right-click and duplicate this like so. Okay, and I can make a bunch of these. Now, ideally, we want to give these really good names, right, to make it clear what they are. But in the brainstorming stage, we're not thinking too much about what's going on here. So let's do that. Let's go ahead. And guys, I'm going to pull up my chat here. I want you guys to participate with them. Give me some names for some chapters here so we have some good content to work with so it looks a little bit more realistic. I'm going to go ahead and open my chat here so I can see that. And just drop me some names and things that you might be interested in doing. Obsidian Eyes. We like that. I will copy that. Okay, we'll put that as our first chapter template. I always love this too because when I do this with you guys, we get some fun stuff going on here. Okay, what makes a cat run? Let's try to get all 7 of these filled out here. And maybe so we can see this in the binder too. I'll open this up so you can see this. That's what's happening here. Everything I make, every change I make in here, it happens over here. Okay. No other names, guys? We got 5 more. 5 more. Okay, I guess I'll have to come up with some. Okay, Long Journey to Shadow Forest. Okay, thank you, Osa. Appreciate that. Good to see you here, by the way. Okay, John Greenstone, Dog in Danger. Got it. Good. 4 more. Bye-bye, Miss American Pie. Thank you. That's fun. Okay, good. And maybe Veil of Twilight. Ooh, I like that. Yes, we're getting it. We're getting there, guys. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, looking good. Copy that. And from the Missing Fish, one more, and then we've got it. We got our gold here. Maybe I should come up with the last one. Oh, the Shadow's Edge. Thank you, Nicole. Appreciate it. That's great. Okay, so we've got these in here like so. I think I'll capitalize that. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so we have a bunch of these now. So I could literally just, move these around, and everything I change here will change over there. But you can see very quickly that chapter numbering is not something that I'm including in my binder. I could, but I don't like to because Scrivener already knows the order that these should be, what's chapter 1, what's chapter 2, based on the order it appears in the binder. So what I would probably do from a freeform corkbook mode, is if I'm outlining here, I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to move these around to what I think might make sense. So maybe I like Veil of the Twilight. So I might say the Veil of, if I could spell, V-E-I-L of Twilight is the realm of shadows, where I don't know where the monsters live. Not very great for starters, but hey, you know, when we're writing something in the beginning, the hero goes on a long, treacherous, I can't even spell, dangerous, I'll see with easier words, dangerous journey to the veil, but must travel through the shadow forest, right? Forest. So you can see how I could go through this, right? I could edit this out. I could even mix it around. So right now, these are kind of starting to make sense to me. Okay, that kind of comes next, right? I'm thinking probably either Obsidian Eyes or Shadow's Edge after that. And we have What Makes a Cat Wrong, Dog, and Danger. Those are kind of similar. These are kind of outliers. Those are all dealing with animals. This is kind of an outlier. Like, I don't know what to do with that one yet, you know? And so you can see how I could kind of organize these things around, mess around with it. You know, actually, probably, this would probably go first, right? And then, like, we're going to, the hero arrives here at the Veil of Twilight. Arrives at the Veil of Twilight, and we'll put which is the realm of the shadows where the monsters live, or something like that. Okay, so you can kind of see here, we can kind of draw connections and kind of group things together like this. Now, if you're looking for something more like where I want to like attach things like arrows and things like that, you probably will want to check out Scapple. You can see right that Scapple is our other app, and it works really well with Scrivener, where we can kind of do something similar that we're doing here in Scrivener in the freeform corkboard, but we can add in, maybe I'll just show that real briefly, real quick. We can add in things like that where we, this is the wrong one. Let's grab, Scapple, where'd you go? Yeah, let's see, Phantom Lord Shadows right there. Okay, so you can kind of put arrows in between each other, and what's really cool about this is I can actually drag this into Scrivener, and it'll come in. It takes a little bit of reorganization, but you can get some really cool stuff going on in Scapple here. So if that's something that interests you, this is kind of like me, the like Corkboard 3.0 here. I love, it's like an advanced Corkboard. That's what Scapple is. But to be fair, I really love this view too. If I just want to do it all in Scrivener, this is a great place to be, right? I can easily do everything right here in Scrivener and kind of outline things out. Now, our next thing we can do here is looking at arranging these by label as well. So maybe what we might do is we might come to our labels real quick, okay, and give them some names and things like it. Now, labels can be used for anything. They can be used to keep track of status, progress, right? We can use them to keep track of character viewpoints. We can use it to keep track of timeline. Whatever we want to visually represent, we can. And so usually what you'll see me do is I'll come in here and I'll say, okay, we're going to have a character for each color here. And something like this, right? And that's how I keep track of whose character is who. Now, if you only have one viewpoint, then that's not something you're probably going to want to pursue. You probably want to find a different use for this tool. But if you have multiple viewpoints, you know, 2 or more, you're probably going to want to do something similar to this. Okay, you may. It's really up to you. There we go. Okay, and actually, you know, Ivel's, I actually like his color to be yellow. So if you're wondering how I did that, I double-clicked the color. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and make that kind of a light yellow there, like so. Okay, there we go. And so you can change any of these colors by double-clicking them. You can make them darker, lighter, whatever you'd like to do. We'll go ahead and click OK. And the cool thing about the corkboard is it's really easy to assign labels here, too. I can actually select and say, hey, these first two, I can right-click and label them. I'm going to say those two are Ned. These two are Nira. These 3 are Ivel, and this one right here, this outlier is Revelo, just for example, okay? And so we can already see in the corkboard view, oops, let me move that out of the way, in the corkboard view here, that we have these, what do you call it, these colors already evident just on the line, the edge of the card here, right? We can make that more prominent by going to View, Corkboard options, and actually showing those more, or even use label color in index cards to make that a little bit more prominent. That's going to be a choice that's I'll leave up to you, but it's really easy to do. View, use label color in index cards. You can also turn it off like that. Okay, either way, I actually kind of like it that way. But let's look how this looks in our arrange by label view now. Okay, so we're going to switch over. Yep, that looks good. Oh, you know what we should probably do is we should commit to a structure here. Let's commit. And we're going to start top. We're going to go left to right. And we'll just go with that. Yeah, and kind of reorganize that a little bit. Yeah, I think I did a pretty good job, actually. Yep, that's fine. It's not perfect, but it's okay. So we'll switch over to our label. And now we can see our label view. I like this because I can kind of visualize character arcs here now. I can see, okay, I got 2 chapters with Ned, right? Nothing else yet, right? I have 2 chapters with Nira here, or Naira, however you want to pronounce that. And then I have 3 chapters here with Ivel and 1 chapter with Revelo. And the order that they appear in, you can see Ned begins at the beginning. Next we have Nira. We have a chapter with Ivel, and back to Nira, back to Ivel. Ivel again, back now to a new character, Revelo. And so this is a really good way for me, at least, to kind of visualize the story occurring. And this would be a great way for outlining too. You could kind of see, okay, timeline-wise, these 2 chapters, unless I'm doing like a flashback or something like that, typically these 2 chapters are going to occur before these 2 chapters, and so I can kind of consider my timeline. I might even come in here and add in specific dates and things. I hit return, and that created a new document, in case you're wondering. So I could come in here and add in dates and times and things like that to make it a little bit more clear, right? I could add key points, anything to this summary that's going to make it easier for me to understand visually what's going on, right? So yeah, a lot of cool things you can do here. And if you did this, let's say instead of doing characters, you did progress, you could do like red is not done, or like to do, yellow is in progress, and green is done. You could see, and I could look at this and say, oh, well, my green one, this one is done, right? You know, and it happens to be at the end. But my to-dos are yet to be written, right? My yellow's in progress, and in this case, purple would be nothing, right? Maybe revise. I don't know. I could be revised or something. And you can say, oh, those need to be revised or something like that. And so there's a lot of different ways you could approach using this tool and this view. Now, what's really cool, too, is we don't just have to do this horizontal view. We could also do a vertical view like this. We're viewing it from top to bottom. So whichever view makes more sense to you, you can switch that right here at the bottom by clicking those 2 options right there. And I'm sure you can do it in the top menu too, vertical. Let's see here. Maybe not. Let's go to view before I arrange. Yeah, there we go. Arrange by label layout. So it's in view, corkboard options, arrange by label layout, either in rows, which is what we're in right now, or in columns. Okay, however you want to do that. So there you go. Let me go ahead and grab a drink of water real quick. So far, though, we're looking great. Okay, now the last thing I want to talk about for the corkboard is our corkboard options here. So I can come here to the far right corner. There's a little index card icon here, and from here I can actually adjust the size of my card. Okay, make it really small, really big. Typically, I don't like them too big. I kind of like them somewhere in the middle. And I can make it kind of short like this. I try not to keep my key points and my summaries too long, because I feel like if I'm writing a big long summary like that, I probably should just write the chapter itself. So we want to keep it as short and concise as possible. Of course, the choice is yours. But I like to keep it really short and concise, so I might make the ratio like a 5x2 card instead of a 6x4. You can go like really long, like this, 5x9. But I'm going to go with the 5x2. I kind of like that. And I think actually the size, I think I liked it right where I had it, right about there. We can adjust it. So let's see here. If we're in a different view, let's go to a different view here. Let's turn off our arrange by label. Okay. We can adjust. Nope, that's not it. I think it's in the linear view I'm looking for. Let's go back to our regular view. Here, let's just turn that off. Oh, there we go. Like this. Okay, and that gives us a few more options in this view. So we can actually have the cards across. We can force 1 card across. We could do 2 cards across, 3 cards, 4 cards, etc., and so on and so on and so on, all the way down here to as many as you'd like. I'm going to do, let's just do auto. Auto is fine. That just means it's going to dynamically adjust by how big things are around the editor here in the corkboard in the center. And if you are using keywords, this kind of goes beyond the scope of our presentation, but you can also show keywords in here in the corkboard as well. If that's something that interests you. So some fun things you can kind of mess around with there. It's pretty nice. Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. Feel free to mess around with those. You can do a lot of really cool things in there. And of course, as a reminder, if you wanted to adjust the color into your corkboard here like so, you can kind of view, use label color in, and you can add those label colors to your, where is it? To your index cards right there, like that, okay? Ooh, another good one also is icons. So typically what I'll do is actually I'll use icons instead. Use view label color in. I'll turn off the index card, and I can still kind of see it in my icons. I really like that, especially in the binder here. You can kind of see that visually there. It's really nice looking. Okay, so that kind of wraps up our corkboard view. I mean, there's a lot we could talk about the corkboard, but I hopefully you get a good idea of how to get started with it and get using it really efficiently and feeling confident on how to do that and get your book outlined and kind of have fun with it. Yeah, honestly, this is one of the coolest and funnest features in Scrivener. It's so much fun to do. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again for the presentation, if I can find it. There we go. And let's dive into our second tool, the outliner, okay? So the outliner in Scrivener is honestly, in my opinion, one of the most underrated yet exceptionally powerful tools because it offers a comprehensive overview of your writing project. It could really enhance your organization and planning efficiency. And I know we hear those kind of, buzzwords, I guess you could say, but it's really, really a powerful tool. Especially if you're someone like me, where I really like to see word by word, like, what progress am I making? Am I really moving anywhere? Or am I just standing still? So you can kind of think of it as an expanded view of the binder. Now, this feature provides a hierarchical perspective of your manuscript, complete with customized metadata such as the synopsis, the word count, status, and so much more. So it's really a valuable tool for managing really complex writing projects. It offers you a bird's eye view of the entire structure while also offering an easy rearrangement of these sections, ensuring consistency throughout your work. Now, a big thing we're going to focus on today is the fact that you can track your progress directly within the outliner, helping you meet your key milestones and deadlines. We're going to look at total words, total targets, total progress, how to keep track of that stuff, and some other general metadata as well. This robust tool really instills confidence in me as I use it and clarity into my progress, making the writing process not only manageable, but also very deeply rewarding because I'm like, yes, I did it. I hit my goal. I reached the target for that document. I did it. I love that feeling. I love that feeling of I can check the box and say, yes, I wrote my 1,000 words today and I can see it right there. So let's begin. Let's go ahead and do that right now. So we will let's share the other screen. Oops, there we go. And let's get sharing over here. Okay, let's talk outliner now. Open up Scrivener. Where are we? So we're switching now from our corkboard view to our outliner view. How do we switch over? It's pretty easy. We go to View, Outline. Now you can use the command shortcut Control 1 on a PC, Command 1 on not Control 1, Control 3, there we go, Control 3 on a PC and Command 3 on a Mac. We can also click it there, or we can come over here to the group mode and click it right there, wherever you want to, it's just fine. Now, by default, you're probably going to see something like this. You'll have a title and synopsis, you'll have a label, you'll have a status, and you'll have a section type. And if you're wondering what in the heck is a section type is just essentially how Scrivener sees the structure of your project. So right now, this is good. It sees everything in Act 1 as a chapter. That's what we want it to look like. If I came up here to this is not so good. It's seeing all of my parts here as, in fact, chapters. So what I would want to do, just so you can see, this is kind of a bonus thing. I wasn't planning to do this, but we can come in here and actually select these. We can right-click it, section type, and make sure that is, in fact, a part heading. Oops, I clicked the wrong one. Section type, part heading. And you can always tell where Scrivener has assigned the structure if it's italicized. Okay, in this case, it's not italicized anymore. I assigned that, and Scrivener knows for sure that is, in fact, a part and not a chapter. Right, so there we go. That's kind of what that was. Typically, though, I don't worry about that too much until the very, very end. So usually when I'm in the outliner, I'll go ahead and turn off the section type, okay? But you can turn that on anytime to check and just make sure, hey, is Scrivener getting my structure right so far? Is it looking at things right? I kind of have things in the right place. So you can see here real quick, we have a title and synopsis, we have a label, we have a status, and we can add more. We can come here, we can say, okay, I'm going to add in my total target and my total progress. And what was the other one? I wanted to do total words as well, total word count. There we go. So we can kind of see where we're at. And I usually rearrange these so you can see this is how many words is in the folder or in the chapter, right? And there's nothing. But the targets are calculated here based on the scenes inside of these folders. So this one has 750. This one has 1,250 targets. And these were, in case you're wondering, these were set up already in my book template here. Okay, or actually not my book template, my chapter template down here. If you come here, you can see they have a target there of 750 words. This one has a target of 1,250. If that goes over your head, don't worry. The beauty of this template is it's already set up. You don't have to think about it. I do have other presentations to explain how to set that up, modify it, and work with it. But for now, if you're brand new, don't stress. It's just there. Just use it, right? So we'll move on, we'll move back here. But you see, because I use my templates, they all have targets already set up, making it super easy to come here and track things as they go. So maybe just to make things simple for us, I'm going to quickly open up a different project here and just pull in some text so we can kind of see what's going on here. So, oops. Let's go back to my third novel here, and we can kind of see what's going on. So we're going to go ahead. One cool thing I neglected to mention is that you can actually click on the icons to open up that document. So we'll double click that icon. It'll take me into this scene. I can paste in this data here, right here. Okay, that was missing a sentence. A period. Okay, so we're at 1,735 words out of 750. So I'm well over target. Maybe what we'll do is to see this a little bit better. I'm going to actually cut this document in half just so we can see what this might look like. Okay, that's fine. And then we'll come back. We'll just call this. We'll come back to that. Let's go back to our outliner here. Come into this scene right here, 1,250, right? And we'll paste the rest of that there like so. Okay, and then we're going to come back in here and we're going to look at this. Okay, that's looking good. So we can look at chapter 1 here, let's say, and it's really close to that 2,000 word target. Now, as a writer, this doesn't say, oh, I must reach that 2,000 word target. It says I'm close. Maybe that's all I really needed, right? And if that's okay, that's okay. I can either leave it like so and say, okay, I'm close to that target, or I could actually come in here, right? I could modify these targets and say, hey, this was actually supposed to be about 500, right? And I could come back out of this one. Double click that and say this one, that's pretty close, but we'll change that to about 1,100. Oops. Just so we can kind of see this change. And so suddenly our target dropped down to 1,600 words, right? It's like, okay, I met that target. And so you can kind of modify those, mess around with it, but the point is here, I can see where I'm at. In this case, I kind of went overboard a little bit, And so that's just something I can compare and see, okay, I can look at that. And that's why I like to have the total words up here. So if I don't have my overrun turned on, so I can see in red that I've gone over, I can see in words that, oh yeah, I went over a little bit. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm happy with that. And so if we minimize that here we can see we've got the 496 words out of 500, the 1,239 out of 1,100, and that gives us our total. So you add these two together, you get that 1,735. You add these two together, you get that 1,600. And the same is true down here for all of these, right? Now, you can decide, you can adjust the targets on these. That's up to you. But hopefully you can see how very easily I can now keep track of my progress and see where things are going, see where work may need to be done. I can even come in here and adjust progress, right? So this one is done. We'll say, you might even put it as, let's say as a first draft, right? And these are all first drafts, right? But this one's still to do, and this one maybe is in progress, and this one is right. So you can see we can go through it and make adjustments to all these things and kind of move them around anywhere we need to. So this is really, really handy for keeping track of your progress and to help you see kind of where you're at, where you stand, and where you're going just at a glance. And what's really cool too is I can actually sort these out too. So I can sort these out and say, okay, these are all the to-dos that need to be done. Here's the revised draft. This is in progress. These are the first drafts, right? They're no longer in their binder order anymore, so I can kind of just see what's going on there. One thing I neglected to mention, looks like I have numbering turned on. So the numbering for me gets to be a bit much. You can see when you have a long hierarchical structure like this, we have I have a book, we have a part, we have a chapter, we have a scene, we get these really long numbers for each one. And so usually, I'll go ahead and turn that off. And depending on whether I need to see my synopsis, you can see if I have synopses in here too, that can also be a little bit overwhelming if they're quite long. Even if they're not quite long, we have everything that has a synopsis. That can be a lot. So sometimes I'll go ahead and turn that off too, just by clicking that there. But I do like to keep my icons on. And once again, if I double click into any of these, it'll take me inside and directly in there. And a reminder, I always tell people, make sure you give very clear names to your documents. I'm just going to copy some text in here and throw it in there so I can kind of know what's going on there. But ideally, a very short sentence. It should be like a summary of your summary. The main thing that happens in this scene that you want to know and remember, so you can read and be like, oh, yeah, that's the important thing that happened in this scene here, right? And the same for this one. I'll do the same thing. We'll just grab a sentence here just so you can kind of see that. This wouldn't be ideal, but it would just give an idea of what we're looking at here. Oops. There we go. And see, now it's starting to come a little bit together. I can kind of look at this and say, okay, this is what happens in this chapter here just by glancing at it. I can assign labels. I can turn off labels. Whatever I want to do, I can do. Like so. So I know this is a Ned chapter. Probably won't label those as Ned as well. Okay, is there anything here I missed I wanted to do? So this is kind of our general metadata, our title, our label, our status, our section type. Of course, if you're familiar, you can create your own custom metadata and things you can do. We're not going to cover that today, but there's a lot of fun things we can do here in the outliner. And what I would encourage you to do is just come here, click this little toolbar here, and kind of mess around with it. Test it out. See what you can do, what you can't do. Try things out. That's the best way, in my opinion, to learn Scrivener and kind of get familiar with the app. But I really, really love this tool. It's one of my personal favorites. I probably say that too much about all of the tools, but I do use this one a lot. Switching gears real quick. I do want to go back to the Corkboard view real quick. The same idea that I just showed you where I can double click inside these and go to it is also true in our Corkboard here. So I can actually come to the Corkboard view. I can double click inside of it and double click inside again. It'll take me inside. And that's a quick navigation tool I forgot to mention. Works both in the Corkboard and in the outliner. Okay, so just be aware of that. Yeah, it's kind of a nifty tool there. Okay, well, that's the outliner in a nutshell. There's so much more I could probably talk about the outliner, but we're going to stick with that, and we're going to move on to our next step here. Okay, let's see. Let's dive into bookmarks. Okay, I'll share my other screen with you real quick. There we go. And oops, did I share the right screen? Yes, I did. Okay. We'll just share it again anyway. Okay, sorry about that. Diving right in. Our next tool is bookmarks. Now, bookmarks enable quick access to related documents or references, reducing the time spent searching for materials and increasing your efficiency. Whether you are just linking to research notes, other sections of your manuscript, even external files, bookmarks ensures everything you need is just a click away on the project level and on the document level. And I think that's what's really cool about this is that I can have like general bookmarks for my entire project that I know I use these documents and tools all the time. I just want to have quick access to them. Don't have to go searching for them. And then occasionally for specific documents, I can actually select specific files that relate to that project, that scene that I'm working on that'll only show up on that document. So let's take a look at this amazing tool here real quick. And you know what? Maybe before we do that, let's actually, so we can maybe move just a tad quicker. I'm also going to go through our Scrivener's composition mode next too. So we have the composition mode. This is a great feature if you're looking to really fully immerse yourself in writing by minimizing distractions and maximizing your focus. When you activate composition mode, your document expands to fill the entire screen, effectively eliminating any potential interruptions from other applications or notifications. This clean, uncluttered workspace is perfect for writers looking to dive deep into your work without the constant pull of external stimuli. Now, what's really, truly impressive is that even though Scrivener's tool may not always be visible in this mode, they really are just a click away via hitting hidden toolbar at the bottom of the screen. So I love that Scrivener offers us the flexibility to work with as many or as few tools as we prefer in this mode. And so let's go ahead and do it. Let's take a look at both these tools. We're going to look at bookmarks, then we're going to look at composition mode together. Okay, stop that. Here we are. Let's go to Scrivener. And let's look first at bookmarks. Okay, now bookmarks is found here in the inspector. Okay, if you're wondering what that is, it's this guy right here in the top right corner. You can turn it on or off. It's the second tab over. And we have, you can see already it's set to document bookmarks. We have project bookmarks. Now by default, in the novel template and in my starter novel template, there are going to be some default project bookmarks available to you. We have our characters, okay, right there. We have our settings and we have our project notes. We can quickly get access to right there. And usually, if there's anything in them, it'll actually pull something up for us. So let's go ahead and add some things real quick. So let's come to our project notes, and I'll just quickly add a couple notes here. Oops. Book note 1, book note 2, like so. And then maybe we'll add a character 2, character sketch like so, and a setting sketch like so. Okay, I kind of get it started there. And so if we come up here now, you'll see our arrows have opened up, and we have some options here to select our documents, right? And unfortunately, there's nothing in them, so need to add something. Okay, there we go. And something else. Wish I had something better to drag in here. Let's paste something like that. Oh, there we go. Yep. There we go. Something like that. So you can quickly see this. If I was over here, and I know I frequently reference this document, I could come here, and it would load it right up here in the bookmark viewer right below here. Okay. Now I could right-click this and open it in the current editor or open it in the other editor like so. Okay. Either way is fine. Right-click this as well. I could right-click, open that, and I believe I can. Yeah. What I think the best way to go about doing this, let's open it in the other editor, right? And then we could actually double-click it and open it up fully depending on which one we wanted to get to. So this is a great place to keep things, keep notes and research and files and things that you're going to be using again and again, no matter where you're at in the project. That's project bookmarks, okay? Now, document bookmarks is a little bit different in that if I select this document right here, which is the first scene in A Long Journey to Shadow Forest, anything I reference here is going to appear here. So let's say we're just going to call this notes for, we'll say revision notes for chapter 1, scene 1. Now this is a very specific kind of example, but you can see the idea. Let's say someone had read this and given me some revision notes or something, and I just want to have quick access to those. Maybe I could have hundreds of revision notes in my project notes, and I just want to have this specific one available here. So what I'll do is I'll drag it there, and I'll put it right there. And now I have access to my revision notes right there when I need them, right? Let's copy this. Like so. And so I could easily get access to that. I think I'm in the wrong place. Let's go back. What did I do? Let's change this. Revision notes for chapter 1, scene 1. See, even I make mistakes sometimes. Scene 1. There we go. And then we'll come back up here, right? And there it is. Right there. Right? And so I could have those notes right available to me. Looks like I actually, that's what I did. I dragged this one over here for there. And you'll notice that if I went to scene 2, it doesn't have any document bookmark there. But if I go back to scene 1, it has my notes there, right? Because it's document specific. It's specific to the document I'm working on. And this is really handy if you have notes that are specific or research specific to the document in question, to the scene you're working on, to the chapter you're working on, to the section you're working on, whatever the case may be. Put the things that are relevant to that document in the document bookmarks for quick access. That way you don't have to go running around in your project, even doing a search. It will save you a lot of time if you're really intentional about that and use that tool effectively. It's a very, very powerful tool. Now, we can also come in here. We could add additional internal bookmarks from anywhere in our project. We could add an external bookmark from somewhere else, like a URL, a website, for example. So if I have a website here, I can type the title of the website and put the website URL, and they can actually be put right in here in the binder here. Maybe let's do an example of that real quick. I'll pull up my Substack real quick and we'll look at how that might look. So we go here, pull that up, and I can actually edit this one here, but we're going to go ahead and delete it and click Add External Bookmark. And you notice it didn't say file. That would be different. This would be Oliver's, let's say website, like so. Okay, and I could actually then click Load Web Page, and boom, there it is. It loaded it up for me. I click No Thanks, and boom, there it is, right here inside Scrivener. So maybe if I wanted to grab someone from my old book excerpts here, parts I've written, I can come here, I can grab that, and copy and paste it in. Super handy. It could be any type of website. Maybe this isn't the best example, but any type of website that has information that you need. Very easy to add. Very easy to get in here. No problem at all. And likewise, we could do an external file bookmark where I'm actually pulling a file from somewhere else on my computer. Now, typically, I'll be honest, I don't usually do this. The only reason I would do something like this is if I don't want the file directly stored in my project. Maybe it's a big file, it would take up a lot of space, and it would slow down my backup time and stuff like that. Then that would make sense. But usually, I pull everything into Scrivener because most of my stuff's pretty small. I don't have a lot of big files that it would take up a lot of space inside my project. But if you do have something like that, that would be the way to do that right there. Add an external file bookmark for larger files and things like that. So a lot of fun stuff we can do here in the bookmark section. That's kind of the bookmarks in a nutshell. You of course we could talk more about that, but we got plenty of things to cover. So we're going to move on to our next one, the composition mode. Okay. So we are right here in our scene here, and I'm looking at Scrivener and I'm like, man, there is a lot going on here. I just want to sit down, focus, and write. I don't want to be distracted by my project structure. I don't want to be distracted by my notes or anything else. I just want to write. So what do? I go to my composition mode. And it's really easy to do. I can go to right up here to compose. I can also go to help and search enter composition mode. And you'll find it right there under view, enter composition mode. And you can find a keyboard shortcut for there as well. Now, let's go ahead and do it. We'll click Compose. It's going to take us right here. It typically will tell me, hey, typewriter scrolling is enabled. If you want to turn that off, you can disable it right there. You can ask me to not ask again, but we'll just click OK. I can also do it right here. I can turn that off right here in my toolbar. That's the hidden toolbar I was talking about. But right now, I can literally just dive right in, start writing, and get to work. Oh, I love the typewriting mode actually, because it's right there in the center of my screen. I can see it really well. I can just get to work and get going. I don't like it when it's all at the top. I don't like it when it's all at the bottom. I like it right there, dead center. Okay. But as we know, sometimes you're in the middle of writing something like, man, I can't remember that name of that character's name, or I can't remember what happened back in chapter 2 or whatever, So what do? We can come here to our toolbar here at the bottom. One problem I'm going to have is my dock. If you're using a Mac, this is where the dock kind of gets a little bit annoying. If you kind of have it hidden, it'll want to bring that up. Real quick, I'm going to change that so it's out of the way for a second. Let me see. Sorry, this is something. Actually, normally on my laptop, I actually have it off to the side. But on my desktop here, I don't usually have it. So let's see here. Let me switch it over here. Dock, where are you? Dock, desktop, dock settings. Position on the screen. Okay, yep, put it on the left. There we go. Okay, now that's out of the way, I can come down here freely without the dock popping up here. So you can see I can adjust the view here. I can kind of fade the background in and out. Now, typically, I don't want to do that because I want to keep things undistracted. But if you have a nice background you want to see, you can do that. Or we also have paper position to the left or to the right, right? This might make more sense with a background fade if you have some notes you want to pop up here. But personally, I keep it right there in the center. I might even make the position of the paper a little bit wider, okay? So I can kind of get to it. Oh, yep, and then I kind of have a little bit bigger space to work with, and you can make it as wide as you want. You can take up the whole screen. I like it centered a little bit so I'm not looking too far to the left or right, just kind of right in the middle, just enough that it's just big enough but not so small that it looks cramped, right? And we can even increase our text scale. Now, typically, I like about 200%. That's my preference. It feels big enough that I can read it, but not so big that it's like massive and I can't see the rest of what I'm working on. But you can adjust that to anything you'd like it to be. Now, what's really cool is when we start getting into the tools aspect of it. So just because I'm in composition mode doesn't mean I can't still access some of these great tools that Scrivener has to offer. So I can open up my inspector, and this inspector is wicked cool. Like, not kidding. You can access so many great tools here. I got my synopsis notes. I got the picture for this. If I had an image for this specific document, I could add keywords. I could access my bookmarks right there. Ooh, that's great. Let's load that web page right now. Get that pulled up here, right? You see, I can do all this really cool stuff right here with this little window. And if I have multiple windows, I could even move that to a different window. So it's still not like, it's still there, but not right in front of my face all the time. I could come here and I could do, let's see, actually, let's switch to project bookmarks. I can look at custom metadata if you're into that. I don't have any for this project, so that's fine. I can look at comments and footnotes. So I have all these great little resources right here available to me. Super duper easy to get access to and to use. And I can even have my specific document notes and my my synopsis index card right here available to me. Now, once I'm done with that, I can close that out. Oh, forgot to mention I can adjust my label and my status here too. On top of that, I can actually go to anywhere I want in my project with this little tool right here. I can see my bookmarks are right there available to me. I can go to my character sketch, my setting, my project notes like so. I can actually go to anywhere in my project I want to. I can navigate back to where I was like that. And there we are, right back where I was. So it's kind of like quick access to your binder. It's not quite as easy to, as opening up the tabs and finding it in your binder, but it's a really useful way to quickly get to where you're going anywhere you want to in your, while still staying in composition mode, right? For Mac users, we have a focus option where we can focus the line, we can focus the sentence. We can also even focus the paragraph. Unfortunately, we do not yet have this for PC users, so I apologize for that. But that's something hopefully we'll be trying to bring in the future. But for Mac users, take advantage of this tool. It's pretty nice. You can kind of jump around here and just have it focus on the specific place you're going. Kind of remove those other distractions if you're looking to get even deeper into focus, I guess you could say. And we'll go ahead and turn that off. And we can even access our keywords right here. This is our project keywords. I don't have any in here, but if I had some, that's where they would be. I can see text statistics. I can look and see how many words I got here, how many characters, paragraphs, sentences, etc. Whether I want to include footnotes and comments and annotations in that metric is an option as well. So a lot of really great tools. So once I'm in here, though, how do I get out? That's a good question. So in the bottom right corner, there is this little button right here. We can click that, or we can also just hit the escape key, and it'll pop us right out. We can get right back to it. Right. So super duper handy. Highly recommend it. Very useful mode. It's a very, very powerful tool. Let's see here. Yeah, I think we covered everything for composition mode there. So if you have any questions, don't hang on to them or ask. I've seen that the chat's been going pretty well. So feel free to ask away. Jen will get on top of those, and we're getting close to the end here. So I'm going to try to move us along. We got two more tools. We're going to look at linguistic focus, then we're going to look at our name generator here, okay? So here goes nothing. Let me go ahead. In fact, I think we'll just look at those two slides together, and then we'll do it, and then we'll kind of wrap up things from there because we're cutting it close here on time. I want to have plenty of time for the Q&A here at the end. So let me stop share. Share desktop. Where is it? 3. There we go. Yeah. And let's dive right into linguistic focus. Now, this is going to be dialogue focus for PC users. We do not currently have this full featured tool available for PC users, so I can't wait till we do. I know that it is something that is on our to-do list, something we're interested in doing. But for now, it's just dialogue focus, but I couldn't not include it. It's just too good of a tool to not talk about. So this is called linguistic focus, and it allows you to highlight different parts of speech within your document, such as nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs. By doing so, it provides a detailed look at the linguistic structure of your writing, helping you identify any potential overuse of certain words or parts of speech. This is like as a reminder, this is not yet fully available for PC users, but we do have something similar called the dialogue focus, which allows you to focus on that direct speech or that dialogue and fading out the rest of the text for easier identification. Great. Honestly, to be honest, that's actually the one I use the most anyway. So if I were on the PC users, I wouldn't feel too terribly bad. I love the dialogue focus. I can actually just kind of pick that out and read my dialogue without anything else around it. It's really particularly useful when you're in the editing phase, and as it can really spotlight areas where you might improve sentence variety or reduce redundancy. This enhanced awareness of your language choices contributes to crafting more engaging and polished prose. So let's take a look at that in just a second. Last but not least, we have our name generator, and this is one that I think is kind of a tucked away hidden tool that a lot of people don't know about. It's a lot of fun. It's fun to play with. It's fun to use. You can even kind of customize it, make it your own, but we'll talk about that. Let's look. We have the ability, it's an invaluable resource for any writer facing the common challenge of naming characters or places within their work, right? So this feature provides a comprehensive and customizable database from which you can draw inspiration, ensuring that names you choose are authentic, varied, and fitting for your narrative universe. Now, the name generator allows you to set specific parameters to tailor suggestions to meet your needs, such as selecting cultural origins, first and last name combinations, and even the obscurity level of the names. Now, this ensures that names are aligned ideally with the context of your story, whether you're writing a historical novel with period-acted names or a fantasy saga requiring unique and imaginative monikers, right? So the name generator offers a wide range of options to boost creative efficiency, liberating you from the tedious task of manually searching and enabling you to concentrate on crafting your story. Now, even if you choose to not to use it like those names specifically for your characters, I found it to be great for placeholders. There's so many times I'm just like, I just need names for an obscure character I just made up right here on the spot. And so I'll go and I'll make a list of names and I'll just grab a name from that list. And it may stay with that name. It may change to something else down the road. That's the beauty of revision, right? And what's even cooler is you can even incorporate your own custom name lists for added variety. Now, that does take a little bit of work on your part, but it's worth it. Sometimes as a fantasy writer, there's a lot of the names in there just don't really work for me. And so I had to come up with my own name list so I can come up with my own cool combinations that the generator makes for me. And I love that. So let's take a look at these epic tools in action. Okay, so if we look at linguistic focus, where do we find that? We're going to go, if you can't find it, and it's going to be a little bit different for PC users, so you want to look for dialogue focus on PC users. Maybe go to that help and search dialogue focus. But for us, we're going to look for a linguistic. Maybe. I think I have something turned on I don't want to. Yeah, there we go. Trackpad, turn that off. I was touching it. It was causing problems. Linguistic. There it is, right there. So it's going to be under edit. Writing tools, linguistic focus. And you can see right there below it, there's our name generator right there. Let's click it. And when it pulls up this little thing, now for PC users, it's just going to be direct speech, right? But right now we have none. We click direct speech, it's going to actually pull out all the direct speech while fading everything else away. Now I can fade it out so it's all gone. I can't see it at all. But typically I like at least one so I can kind of see a little bit what's going on there and kind of focus on. I can see the structure a little bit and kind of read it. Be like, okay, let's just look at that. So that's the direct speech. That's available for everyone, PC users and Mac users. Okay. Moving on, though, if we went to just nouns, this is just Mac users from here on out. We're seeing nouns and proper nouns, right? We're seeing pronouns. Okay. We can look at verbs. What verbs are we using? Man, I'm using transformed. I use that twice. Maybe I should consider choosing a different word, for that verb there. I can look at adjectives, right? And see what adjectives I'm using. Am I using good adjectives? Could I improve on those adjectives? Could I look at this and say, hey, should I change this into something else? Undignified, maybe unseemly, undemeaning, unbecoming, ungentlemanly. I can consider different options here. I like that. I like that. It kind of forces me to focus in and kind of improve my writing in very, on the very low level, right? Adverbs. I know a lot of people are trying to get rid of adverbs, right? They don't want them at all. They recall back to is it Stephen King's book on writing. He talks about how adverbs are horrible. Now, I respectfully disagree. I think adverbs have their place. I don't think you should try to get rid of all of them, but I think they can be a crux, right? It's something that we have to be careful with. And so that's why I like this. So I can come in here and say, okay, looks like I am using quite a few adverbs. What can I do to kind of fight that? Is there a better way I could have written this sentence so I didn't need that adverb, right? So on and so forth. We can look at prepositions, conjunctions, etc. All those there. And so it's pretty handy. It's a really cool tool. I can adjust the fade so it doesn't fade at all. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but I find just right about there, maybe here, that fade looks pretty good. Actually, yeah, I really like it right about there. So you can still kind of see it, but not really, right? So there we go. That is linguistic focus. Oh, even I forgot to mention, it even tells you how many you have: 12, 58 prepositions, 40 adverbs. That seems like a lot. Adjectives, 25. Verbs, 122. Pronouns, 60. Nouns, 110. Direct speech, 22 quotes. So pretty cool. They can do that. And you can also, if you make adjustments to the text, you can come here and redo that, like research it. So it keeps that list, that number updated and here for you. Okay, looking good. That's linguistic focus in a nutshell. Very simple, but very powerful tool. A lot of good uses we can use with that there. Okay, so we have here one more tool to go over, and then we're going to open up for our Q&A after we just go through our last couple slides. Let's look at our name generator. I'll go to Edit, Writing Tools, Name Generator right there. There we go. And you can see here, this window pops up, and we have a lot of different options here. Now, big thing I look at first is right here in the middle. I can generate anywhere from 1 to 500 names at once. I typically do about 200, it depends on what I'm using it for. If I'm just trying to get a list of names that I can easily search through and grab for obscure characters, then yeah, I think anywhere from like 100 to 150 is reasonable. I don't want too many because that could be a problem. That could be too much to go through, become a distraction for me. Now I can do gender. I can do either male, female, or either, right? Obviously some next are unisex, so it's going to be kind of up to you. They've done their best to kind of to separate those based on gender, but you can ultimately decide what's going to make more sense to you for that. We can attempt alliteration, which means that it's going to try to have the first letters of the name to be the same to kind of get that alliteration feel. We can do a double-barreled surname. So the last name has two names with a hyphen between it, right? Just like this one is right here, just like this double-barreled word right here. Then we could also do forenames that use initials only. So let's take a look at that. Let's try attempt alliteration. Let's start with male, attempt alliteration. Let's see what we come up with, okay? Jake, Joe Mark, Daniel Defus, Gerald. I'm not really good with names, but you can see here it's JJ, DD, EE, SS. You see it's kept the first and last names the same. And one thing I didn't really look at, but you can see I have some lists already selected down here. Yours should have some selected right there, and it kind of mixed those names up for me, and this is what it came up with. Now, when you're doing this, if you want to keep these, make sure you copy them before you generate another list, name of a list, because otherwise they will be gone. So you see what I'll come to is I'll come down to my characters, and I'll create a character list like this. Oops. We just want to add a new document here. Add new text. I'll call this a character list like so. Okay. And then we will drop that in here. Let's move it out of the way real quick. I'll paste those in there like that. And there I got my character list just like that. Now, maybe in the beginning, I might want to start with a lower amount, maybe like 30 names as I'm going through. Now, typically, if I'm, I may not want to mix these together. So I might call this my male character list. I don't know, to keep it kind of separate. And we'll go to female next. Let's go ahead and do, let's do like 25, 28, let's do 30 names. This time, we're not going to attempt alliteration. We're going to do a double-barreled surname to kind of see what that might look like. Okay, there we go. Okay. Now, those are some wildly complex names. Let me look. I've got, what list? I got Catalan surnames, forenames, female, male, literary surnames, and popular U.S. names. Interesting. Okay. So we'll copy those there. Could do something similar. We'll right-click. Add new text. Go female. Character list, and it's really whatever makes most sense to you, what's most functional and make it easier for you. You could do like a unisex list too, right? Where it's kind of like could be male or female, either could go either way. New text. Let's do that. Character list, right? Just to give you something to work with. And this time we're going to do the 4 names only, just to kind of see this. Ideally, I'm going to click either. This might not be best because, then we're just going to get stuff like that. Use initials only. That's kind of a weird list we got there. Let's see that. I think it makes more sense. No, it doesn't. Interesting. Okay, yeah, so we'll go with that. And you can see my obscurity level is set to low. If I go to more obscure, I'm going to get more obscure type names, right? This, depending, that's kind of relative, based on what you think is obscure and what is not. But we've done our best there. You can kind of adjust those settings. You can have 4 names start with this, 4 name ends with that, 4 name contains this. You can kind of mess around with these settings to get some really unique and interesting combinations. There's a lot of fun things you can do. Oh, there it is. I could have the number of 4 name initials. I probably wouldn't want 2. I think 2 makes a little bit more sense. Yeah, I can. When I think of 4 names with initials, this is kind of what I think of. This kind of like these initials you might see from an author or something with their middle initial and their first name initialed like this. Okay, and so you could do something like that, right? Obviously, not the only way, but you could do that. You could come down here. We can check any list we want. We can uncheck the ones we don't want. The main thing you do have to do, you do have to have at least a surname and a 4-name list selected so that it can pull those names and put them together. Okay, that's the only thing I'll add there. And if you wanted to add your own custom list, then there is a lot that goes into this, but I'm just going to show you briefly how you can do this. You can come here and click the plus button down here. I believe I have an example here somewhere. Fantasy, yes, custom names list. You can see here I have some CSV files. These are basically Excel files with the names listed like this. I have them in alphabetical order. Really, the main thing you need to remember when you're creating a list like this is that it needs to be in from least obscure to most obscure. That's how Scrivener is going to look at it. So the farther down the row it is, the more obscure it is. If it's at the beginning of the document, the less obscure it is. Okay, and so I could then add this file in to let's do it in here, and I could even tell it what it is. So please provide the following details about the imported list. Its title, it is the Norse female names 2. And is it a surname? Is it last names? Is it female 4 names or male 4 names? I'm going to say it's female 4 names. And if I check this box, they are ordered by popularity, meaning that obscurity level is taken into account, right? Now, totally up to you if you check that box or not. Click OK. We come down here. There it is, right there. Now I can now use that here. So we're going to uncheck some of these guys. And we'll keep the literary surnames. We're going to turn off everything else and kind of see what this looks like. And we're going to do, they're all female, but we're going to do, so we'll just select female. We're going to turn off our initials. We're going to turn off all those other settings. And we're going to go with kind of middling obscurity, like so. And there we go. Got myself a bunch of names like that. Yeah. And I can drop those in here. Like that. So that is the name generator in a nutshell. I probably could do a whole presentation on how to set up that whole thing. But just to kind of get you started, this is, like I said, this is more like getting you started. You're moving from the more fundamental things into some more advanced topics. I'm not going to go into every detail on how to do all this stuff. But if this is something you guys are interested in, if you'd like to learn more how to do this, let me know. We'll take a closer look at that. Probably in another presentation or in a video or something. But we'll see what questions come up. We are officially hitting here at the end of the time, so I want to go ahead and finish up the presentation. We'll open it up for a quick Q&A for over the next 15 minutes or so. But let me just go ahead and close this out real quick. And let's finish. I have a bunch of great free resources for you guys. So I love connecting with you guys. If you need more help, let me know. I'm happy to help out as best I can. You can reach out and get my free starter novel template at ogevanson.com/links. That was mentioned earlier at the beginning of the presentation. I can drop that again, and if you guys need it. We have our webinar library that has all our webinars way back when, so check that out. Our great resource. We have our user form, blog, user manuals, blog and video tutorials, all available at literaturelatte.com and ogevanson.com/tools, and a full knowledge base. So reach out to us. We're happy to get you started there. And of course, I probably should add this on there too. I've also been posting the latest webinars on my YouTube channel. That's also available in my links, so check that out if you want to get access to those as quickly as possible. Okay. So looking good. So what's next? What's coming on? We got 2 more events this week I'm excited about. Next, we're going to be talking about Scrivener Essentials, a simple guide to creating time-saving templates in Scrivener, where I'll teach you how to utilize Scrivener's templates feature to save you precious time. As you can see, I already did some of that today. I'm going to show you how I did that, how I set it up, how all that works both in the project view and the document view, so you can customize and make your own. And this is all going to happen Wednesday, July 17, 2024 at 11 a.m. Central, 5 p.m. UK. So join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you haven't already registered, you can find the registration link in that link I sent. And maybe I'll drag that in there real quick after the Q&A. So my question is to you, did I deliver? Before I conclude, I want to make sure I delivered on my promise. So are you more confident that you can take Scrivener to the next level with these 6 writing tools? And if not, that's okay. That's what the Q&A is for. I'm going to help you out as best as I can. But hopefully you're kind of feeling it. You're like, yes, I can do this. I'm going to let you guys jump in there, and then we're going to jump into our Q&A here. Let's see what we got. Renee says, yes, this was extremely useful. Thank you for both. Absolutely. It was all very useful. Okay, great. Thank you. Yep. Thank you, Fiona. Marilyn, long-time user, but always learn something new. Yes, you delivered. Thank you, Marilyn. Appreciate it. I'm glad you guys have enjoyed this session. A lot of work went into this. I have been working so hard to improve these presentations, focusing more on quality than on quantity. And I hope you can see that. We're getting, things are improving. Things are getting better here. So thank you, Floyd. Glad it was helpful. As a reminder, this is all going to be available to watch here again soon. So why don't we transition into our Q&A? Okay. Oops, I forgot about that part. And yeah, so don't be shy. Ask away if you have any questions. I want to help you out. I want to get those answered. I know sometimes for me, I'm the kind of guy where I don't think of my question until after the event has ended. And if that's the case, that's what these emails here are for. You can reach out to us at Scrivener/Mac/Windows/Mobile or scalpel@literaturelatte.com to get your question answered. And I highly recommend, if you have a very technical question, I do sometimes get very technical questions that unfortunately I just don't have the time to get into. I do recommend you reach out to our technical support team for those kind of issues. They're going to help you out with that. They can be a lot quicker than I can. But if you have a webinar-related question, a topic you'd like me to cover, or something very simple that maybe relates to, like, hey, can I use Scrivener to do this? Can I use Scrivener to do that? Those are the kind of questions I'm more than happy to dive into and help you with, because those will also inform the content I share with you. I can say, oh, this person wants to know if I can do this with Scrivener. I'm like, yeah, let's see if we can do that. Or maybe we can't. We'll just find out together and see where we end up. And you can reach me at contact@ogevanson.com with those kind of questions, okay? So let's dive right in here. I'm going to stop sharing that screen and share my main window. There we go. Okay. And let's open it up for some questions here. Let me see if I have anything in the chat. And I'll also pull up my Q&A. Where is the Q&A? More Q&A. Okay, so Mikkel is asking, can you touch on how to use Scrivener to manage blogs and journal entries? That's a great question. I'll go into that briefly here. Let me pull up my Scrivener project here. Now, if I was doing a journal or something like that, I probably wouldn't use my novel template because it's set up for novels. In fact, I don't think I have anything specific template here that would be specifically for a journal or something like that. But you certainly could. In fact, I do. I have I call it my author platform project, or I have 2 different platforms I run. And so I have 2 different platform projects where I keep track of content I create for that platform. So maybe just to give you an example of what that might look like. This is a template I hope to share with you guys someday as I work it out. Right now, it's very much in the early stages where I'm creating content, week by week and month by month. And so I can kind of keep things kind of organized based on like my calendar here. I kind of have that there inside of my my draft folder. But really, it's the beauty of Scrivener is structure is totally up to you. I wouldn't even say this is necessarily the best structure. This just happens to be the structure that I'm working with right now. So if I go into July, for example, actually let's create a new one. Let's go add new from template. Yeah, there it is. I'm moving into August here soon. August 2024. And I could open that up and see here. So I have like my weekly posts, week 1, week 2, week 3, and I've since kind of changed some of this. I don't do a weekly update anymore. I've changed that to a monthly update. But you can see here, I have like little templates here already available for me. What I'll be writing on the chapter I'll be working on that week. I don't actually write the chapters in this project, but I do bring them over here sometimes just to kind of say, hey, it's been done. I know where I'm posting it. So kind of handy. We can kind of keep track of serialized stuff here and kind of write it chapter by chapter, scene by scene. If I were doing a journal, I would probably just start with something like a blank template and just call it a journal. Oops, I spelled that wrong, but that's okay. And then just come in here and put in the date. 24 or something, and start writing my journal. And then, depending on what you're going to do with it, may depend on how you want to organize that. You may want to add in like months, right? And I know that I'm not spelling this real good, but I could do months. And this could be like September, right? And I could do anything I want there in terms of the structure. So long as it's manageable and easy to use, you can kind of get that way, kind of get it how you want it to be. There's no right or wrong answer there. Okay, let's see here. That was a great question. What fonts? Okay, that's a good question. So let's see. So Christoph is asking, what fonts are you using in the Corkboard and the outliner? Let's see. I don't think I'm using anything other than the default, but let's check. Yeah, I think it's the default font. But if we wanted to see what that was, and we go to settings, appearance, yes, in the outliner in the Corkboard fonts. So yeah, I'm just literally using whatever the system default font is for. Those are for the status stamps. It's for the titles. Not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure it's just the system default, even though that's not the one I was looking for. Index cards. There we go. Yeah. System font semibold 12, and then system font regular for the outliner. Yeah, I'm using all the system fonts there, Christoph. So I'm not exactly sure what the default font is for a Mac, but that's what I'm using. You can come in and you can see you can change those. But yeah, that's what I'm using. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, happy to help out there. And John's asking, can you give a very brief overview of how to use compile to output a draft for my project for printing? Okay, that's a good question. Yeah, we can do that. Let's go and open my recent project here of the Otter and the Amulet. Okay, because this one's actually got something to print. We'll go to our compile menu here like so. And so first off, if I want to print something out, I want to actually click the print option. And let's see here. Let me make sure. I want to see if I could get your. Yeah, I want this so I can see it here. Sorry, my computer's kind of lagging because of Zoom is taking a lot of its processing power. Okay, let's see. Draft. Okay, for printing. Okay, so there we go. Now, main thing I'm looking at is, format. What formatting am I going to use? John, I'm not sure which format you're going to use. I'm going to assume you're going to use something like a Manuscript Times or Manuscript Courier to get that out. You could also use the default, which is whatever format exists in Scrivener, right? You could even adjust the font here, right? Now, this is determined by section layout, means it's determined by the format here, okay, and the layouts here, okay? But default is a great way to go, as is our Manuscript Times if you're looking just to get everything into Times New Roman, right? And with a nice structure. We can look here at the front matter. That's what the front matter is going to look like. Main text formatting will be based on how the text appears in the editor. Our not applicable means that it's only going to include the main text based on its appearance in the editor, so it's kind of like the default, right? But this is our section. This is where things are going to start looking like our our formatting here from the manuscript time. So we have section title. This is how it's going to come out. Anytime there's a scene break in the chapter, it's going to put this little pound symbol there. Same with scenes. If there's scene breaks in the chapter, it's going to put those breaks between them. Parts are going to look like this. Okay, you can see, come down, we can see all the parts I have. I think I have 7 parts here. Chapter headings, we can see all the chapter headings, what they're going to look like. It's going to be chapter 1 with the section title, no text. And the scenes will be below that, right, with the text there. So now that I've done that, I've even included some front and back matter, I can actually go ahead and click compile to print this out. And it's quite massive, so it's going to be a big, long document. And what it should do is once it finishes compiling, it's going to bring up my print dialog box here. You can see it's 553 pages. Whew, that is a lot. Okay, so I can come here. I can kind of preview it. Maybe I can't obviously print it, so we'll go ahead and click PDF, and we'll save this to our, let's do our desktop here so we can find it pretty easily. And that's how we would print that out, so it looks relatively good, right? And let's look and see what it kind of would look like. Now, I think I had the title wrong, but that's okay. This is The Warrior's Soul by Oliver Evanson, right? Has my 130 words. This is in Courier, in case you're wondering, because that's what the title page's formatting is. We have our prologue. Yep, that's looking good. One little glitch I noticed with this, I got to figure out why. For some reason, it has been wanting to italicize everything in my first chapter. I'm not sure why that's happening. Kind of a weird quirk or bug I've run into with this specific project, but I haven't had time to actually look at it. Can we zoom out here? It's so close. There we go. But you can see we get a pretty nice look pretty quickly, looking really, really good. And let's get back to chapter 1. There's chapter 1. There are things we can modify and change, such as our headers here, and we have our page number. We can change page numbering, locations, things like that. But yeah, this is what it would look like, and this is how it would print out. That's kind of how you would do that. So hopefully that gets you pushing you in the right direction there, John, so you feel a little bit more confident in how to get that printed out, compiled and printed out for you. Okay, let's see here. Done. Okay. So Jamie's asking, maybe this isn't related to this webinar at all, but what are your thoughts about having a single Scrivener project containing all our production, like novels, short stories, and poems, etc.? Well, my thoughts on that is that project could get pretty bloated pretty quick. It's not a terrible idea, right, to have everything kind of in one thing. In fact, my author platform, when I was just showing you, it's kind of that idea. But really, it's relating mostly what content am I publishing on my Substack, for example, to my author website, to my platform, right? So it probably won't have everything that my book has to offer, right? Just the key main things I'm sharing right now. And so personally, I like a balanced approach. I'm not going to put everything into a single project because that's going to be massive, and plus it's going to be hard to search and find things. I like to group similar ideas. So that's why you may have noticed I had here my let's open up Scrivener again. I had my, what do you call it? The starter novel template. I'm doing multiple books that are related series. I do series in a single project because I want those are related ideas. They all belong together. But if it starts to become unrelated things, then it becomes a lot more difficult to manage, and it can get quite a bit bigger. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Christoph is asking any tips for the best toolbar settings. I'm a minimalist in that kind of thing. I like to keep only what I need up here. To be fair, I use my laptop more than I use my desktop computer for this kind of thing, so this one isn't very well optimized, but I'm big on having the move button here. Lately, I've been finding myself wanting to grab this one and use it, and it hasn't been there, so I might add that back in. I like having my targets, even though I can use Option and click this and click the quick search to get my targets. Just something about having it there. I can see it and visualize, and I remember that I can use that tool. I like having the comment there. I love having the text-to-speech. Expanding, collapsing, those are really nice to quickly expand everything out and collapse it all up. It's particularly in the outliner view. Honestly, the group mode here, I do not use this one as much. I actually keep this mostly here for you guys. I usually use the keyboard shortcuts, And I usually, yeah, that's really what I do. I usually just use the keyboard shortcuts 1, 2, and 3. Command 1, Command 2, Command 3, or, Control 1, Control 2, Control 3 on the PC. So, yeah. I do like the focus because it's not always easy to access that focus anywhere, so I can just grab that and have that right there available to me. Composition mode, same thing. I can learn the keyboard shortcut for that. But to be honest, I use this one quite a bit. Ironically, I actually, I don't know why I memorized the compile shortcut a long time ago, and I just have not used this button except for webinars. Like I typically, even sometimes in webinars, I'll forget, and I'll just use the command shortcut. Option Command E for the compiler, and I just like that. It's quick access to my compiler, especially when I'm in that stage where I'm sending stuff out. I just love to be able to get there quickly without having to move my mouse and get up there. And of course, my inspector, having the ability to change views, hide them. This one in particular, at one point I had this just as the binder. If you like layouts, I recommend this view. If you don't really use the layouts, then just removing this one and just having the binder there like this might be better than having this guy right here. But, once again, my use case is a little bit different for this computer, because this computer I use to share and kind of explore and help you guys out. It's less about my convenience, right? So, yeah, hopefully that gives you an idea. Any other shortcuts you use a lot? Command or Control S for, backing up and saving. I have that setting turned on here. Where you go? Settings here, saving. Not that one. Oh, where is it? Backup after each manual save. So I have that turned on. So I'll use Command S quite a bit to back up. I'm trying to think. Some of them are so automatic, Christoph. I couldn't tell you them all right now, but that's something I'll think about and try to come up with a good list of shortcuts that I use. That's a good question. I like that. In fact, I'll copy that and consider that. I have in my webinar project. Right here, I keep your guys' notes. Anytime a question comes up, I'm like, I'm not so sure about that. Let me add that to my notes here. There they are, webinar notes, questions and things. I'll get that added on there so I can consider that as I'm considering future webinars and things like that. M-dialogues. That is a good question, Olivia. I would send that question about your dialogue focus problem to our technical support team and see if there's anything we can do about that. I'm not as familiar with that problem, so we'd have to look at that and see, one, if we can replicate it, if it's a bug, or if it's just something that was intentional. Once we determine that, we can either find out why it was intentional or why it's a bug and get it fixed. So yeah, we'll look at that. We'll get that reported. I don't know if Jen, if you can take that down and find out, that would be good to know. Yeah. So excellent. They told me they will see that in the future 4 years ago. So, one thing you should know about the Windows app, guys, is that we had some things that happened with it in the past, but we are in full control of the app now. Development is happening a lot more consistently than it was previously. We had a problem in the past where it wasn't able to do, and there wasn't much we could do about it. We've since resolved that problem, and now we're able to do consistent development on the PC version, unlike we were able to do before. So good news is updates are coming. We are working on it. So if you have something that you asked a long time ago and it didn't get answered, ask again, please. Please ask again, because we are in a position now where it's before 4 years ago, we were not in a position where we could do much about it. Now we are. So ask away, get those questions, concerns answered, and we'll work on getting those resolved. Hopefully over the next year or two, you should see a lot of really cool developments going on with the PC version. So hang tight. One cool thing I've been noting, I know everything I've been doing mostly on Mac. I'm trying, as part of this, I'm trying to create presentations that are kind of versatile, where I could easily do it on the PC version, or I could easily do the same presentation on a PC and show the PC aspects of it. I can do the same thing on the Mac. So hopefully you'll kind of see me as I get these all revised and set up and good, working really well, that I can transition back and forth between platforms a lot more. So bear with me. As you can see, I'm in the middle of this project right here, making it happen. I'm working on it. So it's a lot. There's a lot of them. I'm working on it, doing a lot of different presentations. Oh, it's a lot of work. So bear with me. I'll get to that point. Probably not this year, but probably next year you'll start to see me go back and forth more between the platforms. And yeah, it should be really good. Really good. So there you go. Yes, I'm you ask again each year. Well, keep asking. Keep asking. We'll work on it. I'll have to. Now that if you're asking that much, I'm curious. I'll have to look and see if I can figure it out. What's going on there? We'll get it. We'll get it worked out. Okay. So let's see here. Is there anything else that I miss? Let me look at the chat real quick. Or not the chat. The Q&A. I feel like there was something in the Q&A I may have missed here. I see there's a question there. Come on. Q&A pop up. My Q&A has disappeared for some reason. There it is. Okay, yep, answered it. Okay, perfect. Well, I think we are about 5 minutes over time, so I think I'm going to call it for today. Thank you so much for everyone for your wonderful questions. This was a phenomenal presentation. I'm glad to have all of you here with me today. I cannot wait to see what you guys do. Of course, if you're doing stuff in Scrivener and you find something particularly cool or interesting that maybe I haven't covered before, send it my way. I want to hear about it. I want to see what you guys are up to. So let me know. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you, Renee. Thank you, Terry. Keep on up with the good work and keep on writing, and I'll catch you all next time. Okay? See you guys later.